peace in the shadows of history, where the threads of time weave tales of grandeur and wisdom, stands the figure of Nesbanebdjed I, known to the ancient world and modern scholars as Smendes. He rose as the founder of Egypt's 21st dynasty, marking an era not just of succession, but of a profound cultural and religious renaissance in the Nile's fertile embrace. Smendes, he of the Ram, Lord of Mendes, anchored his reign in the city of Mendes, a place resonating with the sacred energies of the ram-headed god, Banebdjedet, who embodied the soul of Osiris. This deity's attributes of fertility, renewal, and the eternal cycle of life and death mirrored Smendes' rulership, as he sought to restore stability in a land recovering from the tumultuous period of the Late Bronze Age collapse. Under his reign, which spanned from around 1077 to 1051 BCE, Smendes navigated the complex political landscapes with diplomacy and strategic marriages, linking his bloodline with the powerful priesthood of Ammon at Thebes. This alliance ensured that even though his control over Upper Egypt was limited, his influence resonated through religious and economic channels, securing his legacy and maintaining harmony and balance across the land. The greatness of this period lay not in conquests or monumental architecture, but in the meticulous restoration of traditions and the strengthening of the two lands' administrative and religious foundations. Smendes' era heralded a period of relative peace and prosperity, allowing arts and culture to flourish once again in the workshops of craftsmen and the hymns within temple walls. As we peer through the veil of antiquity at the legacy of Nesbanedjed I, we are reminded of the resilience and adaptability of human endeavour. His reign encourages us to seek harmony in our own lives, balance in our actions, and wisdom in our governance, drawing upon the profound self-knowledge that has echoed through the ages from the banks of the Nile to the expanse of our modern world. Amidst the golden sands and the eternal flow of the Nile, Smendes' reign exemplified a quiet but powerful affirmation of Egyptian resilience. His governance was characterized not by the opulent splendor typical of earlier dynasties, but by a deliberate, thoughtful preservation of Egypt's rich traditions. It was an era where the echoes of the pharaoh's divine authority were subtly reinforced through the strategic alliances with religious leaders and careful management of the realm's resources. As Smendes solidified his rule from his seat in the north, he oversaw the compilation of knowledge and religious texts, which were critical in preserving the theological and mythological understandings of the time. His efforts to maintain the religious cults ensured that the deities of Egypt continued to receive veneration, thereby sustaining the spiritual welfare of his people and reinforcing the social order. Moreover, under his stewardship, Egypt maintained its intricate network of trade routes, reconnecting with distant lands. This not only brought wealth into the coffers of the state, but also re-established Egypt's influence in the international arena, showcasing a resurgence of its middle power status. Smendes' reign, therefore, was marked by a strategic diplomacy that positioned Egypt as a key player in the evolving geopolitical landscape of the Near East. The legacy of Smendes and his dynasty reminds us that greatness is often found in the wisdom to uphold and adapt the legacies of the past. His rule encourages us to value the importance of cultural and spiritual continuity, to engage with our history, not as a burden, but as a foundation upon which to build a stable and enlightened future. As we reflect upon the past, let us draw upon its lessons to cultivate a sense of purpose and direction in our own journeys, recognizing that the true measure of greatness often lies in the quiet preservation and celebration of our heritage. In the twilight of his rule, Smendes exemplified the role of a stabilizer, a preserver of the ancient ways amid evolving times. As the world around him changed, he chose not to erect new monuments of stone, but rather to fortify the invisible yet enduring foundations of society, its rituals, its laws, and its culture. It was this inner standing of power, not as dominion over others, but as stewardship of the cultural and spiritual health of his nation, that defined his reign. The governance of Smendes, while focused internally, also set a precedent for his successors. It instilled a model of leadership that valued the continuity of religious and cultural practices as a cornerstone for national stability. This model not only preserved Egypt's identity during periods of external threats and internal changes, but also ensured that the essence of what it meant to be Egyptian, its religion, its cultural practices, and its storied history, remained intact. As his time as pharaoh neared its end, Smendes had laid a robust framework for those who followed, emphasizing that true leadership lies in the ability to foresee the needs of the times and respond with wisdom and adaptability. His dynasty, though often overshadowed by the more famous rulers of ancient Egypt, remains a testament to the resilience and quiet strength that characterized much of Egypt's history. Reflecting on the reign of Smendes invites us to consider our own times and the legacies we choose to leave behind. His story teaches us that greatness does not always roar, but often whispers in the careful planning and preservation of what truly defines a culture. It encourages us to embrace our past with all its wisdom and lessons, using it to guide our actions and decisions. In doing so, we can forge a future that is not only responsive to the challenges of the present, but respectful of the heritage that has shaped us, ensuring that the essence of our identities is preserved for generations to come. As the final chapters of Smendes' life were written on the scrolls of time, the impact of his leadership continued to resonate. He had crafted an era that stood as a beacon of stability, a haven of continuity in the turbulent waters of political change that often swept through the ancient world. His reign was a bridge between the past and the future, embracing tradition while gently guiding his people towards evolving horizons. In the aftermath of his rule, Egypt enjoyed a period where the seeds sown by Smendes flourished. The wisdom of his governance, emphasizing unity, cultural integrity, and economic resilience, became pillars upon which subsequent rulers would lean. The 21st dynasty, therefore, is often seen not just as a period of political succession, but as an epoch that preserved the quintessence of Egyptian civilization during a time when it could have easily fragmented under the pressures of external invasions and internal strife. The enduring lesson of Smendes' rule is that greatness often resides not in the monuments we build with our hands, but in the legacy we weave through our deeds and decisions. His life compels us to look beyond the immediate, to plan and act with a vision that transcends our own lifetimes. It teaches us that by valuing and preserving our heritage, we anchor our society in a sense of identity and purpose that can withstand the tests of time. As we stand in the present, looking back at the wisdom of Smendes, let us draw inspiration to act with foresight and responsibility. Let his story remind us that each of us has the potential to contribute to the tapestry of our history, not necessarily through acts of grandeur, but through our commitment to uphold and enrich the fabric of our community. In honoring our past, we empower our future, ensuring that the lessons learned and the spirits celebrated continue to guide and inspire the generations to come. Kindly click like, subscribe, and share this channel.